I feel like this is something that I want to address, and I hope it will help some of those who watch our YouTube channel from time to time or may just tune in, because I want to talk about advice to those who have lost their job or they're in the process of losing a job. And what I want to focus on a little later on in this is what you may be doing wrong that could be hindering someone from hiring you. And let me just say this, that fear is, there's two things that torment. One is the guilt of yesterday, living in guilt, and the other is the fear of tomorrow. If you fear tomorrow, it will torment you. You will lose sleep, you'll lose weight, you'll lose your appetite, you'll lose whatever joy for living you have. And so what I want to say is this, that there are 5 fears. I'll look this up to say, list for me the 5 fears that people have. And here's what it said. The loss of a loved one. There's a fear of someone you love dying. Number 2 is your personal safety or someone causing you harm. That's the second fear. The third fear is the fear of your health deteriorating or coming down with a cancer or maybe a disease that they tell you is incurable. The fourth fear is just the fear of death itself, especially if you're a younger person. You don't expect anything to happen to you when you're younger. You expect that to happen when you're a very elderly person. And the fifth fear, and for some, this is where they're at, this one is at the top, is the fear of job loss, which leads to a fear of financial insecurity. And I want to say this up front, that in the present situation, I have great compassion, I mean this very sincerely, for the number of young people who are in their 20s and 30s, especially who had a career planned in the tech industry, or they had a career planned with a company, and when they were hired, let's say they came out of their school and they came out with their degree and they have their school payments to make, their college payments to make, but they had a good paying job, and a lot of the good paying jobs will be in major cities, especially, let's say, in California or the West Coast. There's very high-paying jobs, Silicon Valley, the tech industry. So a lot of them were told, let's say 4 to 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago when they got the job, everything is in tech, focus on the tech industry, focus on programming computers and so on. And when they took their courses in college under their professors, that's where everything was, and that's where your highest paying jobs were. So you come into a company, you've got great benefits, you've got great opportunity, you have opportunity to move up the ladder. Then along comes Goliath, that giant in the Bible, if you don't know who that is. And the giant is artificial intelligence. So some of these young people were brought in, and some of them were in their late 20s and 30s, and they were brought in to help develop AI. So they thought they would be a part of not only developing AI, but helping to run it. But now when AI has been brought to the level where it is now, and it's not even where it's going to be in the future, it has taken their job from them. Some of them have looked for jobs for months. Some of them have actually been looking for a job up to 2 years. Now, here's what I want to say. This type of thing, when you see such job losses coming, there's already 1 million jobs which have been taken, some because of government shutdown, some because of government cuts, some because of state cuts, and I think maybe it's 20%, 50 to 25% are connected to artificial intelligence. But it reminds you of what happened in the Great Depression. Now, the Great Depression started in 1929 with the stock market crash, but by 1933, there were 15 million people out of work, or 25% of the American workforce had no jobs whatsoever. The Great Depression, or should I say the stock market crash, led to 2,000 banks collapsing. It led to the stock market completely bottoming it out. At the same time, in the Midwest, there was what was called the Dust Bowl. There was no rain. There were no crops growing. People were being foreclosed on their farms, foreclosed on their homes and properties and businesses. People were in soup lines. They actually had to stand every day in cities at soup lines. And it was known as probably at least 7 years, if you total it up, maybe a little more than that, of the worst financial crisis in the history of the United States of America. Now, of course, we pulled out of that, World War II ended, and there was this boom of supernatural prosperity. But the present situation is this. In the tech industry, millions of graduates with great degrees from leading universities are losing their job. AI development is going to become so self-sustaining that they will not need people in many jobs. Some have predicted it'll be 40% to 50% just soon in the next 24 months. The AI can literally take the place of journalists. It can take the place, and I don't want to go through the list of just so many jobs. Now, the 25 to 35-year-olds are the ones that I'm concerned about. I have a daughter that's in her 20s. She happens to be an art teacher at a college. But what concerns me is their ability to pay their college bills back, plus the payments on their homes and their automobiles. And there are precious young people that they just don't have the ability to make things meet. And so I'm just going to tell you, having been someone that one time thought he was going to have to borrow money to pay his house payment, and someone that from time to time has gone through, I understand what it means to have to spend and you don't see it coming in. So I also know what it is, having a little bit of autism, not major autism, but a spectrum, to go through depression. And where you're depressed and you don't know why you're depressed and you're trying to pull yourself out of that depression. For me personally, I have to do it by listening to music or praying or hanging around some really good people. So I'm going to give you some things I've observed. Number one, if you do have a pretty secure job at this point, be careful jumping to another job, because it may look good now, but you may go into a job that they're about in 3 months to turn it over completely to artificial intelligence to save money. Thus, you're going to be out of a job and you've left a job that was a good, pretty secure job. So if you do have a job, be thankful for it, but don't be looking around for another one if you believe that one is secure for a good period of time. Number two, now I know you hate to hear this, because I guess I would too, but if you're single and you have a lot of expenses in apartments, some of the apartments in cities are $2,000, $3,000 rent plus the electric bill and all that, you may have to consider finding a good relative, a grandfather, grandparents, a mom, a dad, somebody that really has cared about you, to go and live with them in a basement or maybe an upstairs apartment or something for a brief period of time to get yourself out from under the financial pressure that you're now under. And I know that you hate that. I know you're an adult, and you feel like, oh, that just kills my ego. Well, don't worry about your ego. Think about the bills piling up and how to relieve yourself from those. Now, that may mean moving from the West Coast to the Midwest or back east or something of that nature. But if you see the job market is that cruddy and it's that bad in your area and it's only getting worse, that's what you may have to do. Now, the third thing, and I hear a lot of people say this that have lost their job. Well, there's a job that was $18 an hour, but I was making $40, so I'm not taking an 18. Well, can I tell you, in some parts of the United States, an 18-hour job, $18 an hour job is actually decent pay for some people that live in areas where the cost of living is lower. There are areas in the United States, and I know these are some areas a lot of you wouldn't want to live in, but there are areas in the United States where apartments are lower, purchasing a home is lower, taxes are lower. There's some cities that they're killing people with taxes, and there are states that have certain tax breaks. Now, there's some kind of my wife knows all of this. I don't keep up with it, but in the state of Tennessee, there is a tax we don't have that other states have, and that's why a lot of people move to Tennessee. So here's a saying that I want you to remember. A little of some is better than none at all. A little of some is better than none at all. So sometimes you just kind of have to break down and say, okay, I'm going to take a temporary job just to help me make payments until something can open up later, because you do have to have the income. Now, there are, at times assistance that a person can give when they've had a job loss, but sometimes that assistance can run out as well. Now, I'm going to tell you my situation. I'm a person that has has started from birth, as a minister, I always thank the Lord for this, so I don't take credit for it. But we have major buildings. We have at one time I had 50 employees. We paid full insurance on our full-time employees. We paid full benefits. We still pay full insurance on our full-time employees. Now, what happens is we have people at the Voice of Evangelism Ministry that have worked for me for years, 30-some years, 20-some years. Our bookkeeper will retire soon after 26 years of working with me. Now, why do they stay with us? Well, first of all, they love the environment. They love the atmosphere. And I think they've told me, Perry, we like working for you and your wife, Pam. We just enjoy it. There's not a lot of heavy stress. It gets busy, but the stress is not there. All right, now, here's how I look at when I hire somebody. If my people here, and I do have some people that are this caliber, are very important to me, I'm not going to let them go unless it's an absolute economic emergency. If it's an economic emergency that's come or a crisis, we have to cut back. The people I will hold on to at the very end would be the people that are most important in their job. Like if you had to replace them, what it would take to replace them. So first of all, you have to make yourself important to the point that your job, you do it so well and it's so good that they're saying, well, we're going to have to make a cut, but man, this person they're creative, they have the ideas. And look, corporations are about making money. I admit that. Now, ministry is not. We sow all the time. We're putting out, we're giving. We have to have income to do that, though. And we have people that work, we have to pay their salaries and insurance. So you do have to have income. But for a secular corporation, the bottom line is that. So here's my point. If they have been with me long term, most of them will retire with me, but some may change jobs for different reasons, and that does happen from time to time. But however, many of them have been here for many years. So here's what I'm going to say. Let's say that, and again, we're a ministry. We're not like a secular corporation. We're a 501c3. First of all, what you have to understand, I want everybody to listen to me, is a lot of people, and there may be some of you watching me, the first thing you did when you lost your job was to go on and tell everybody that you lost your job and that now you're going to become a social media influencer. But there are 16 billion videos on YouTube. So to try to become an influencer in a high level, honestly, it's very difficult because everybody's trying it, and it does not work out for most people to really, climb up the ladder, you might say. But if you're looking for a job, please listen to me. Here's what you have to understand. And I do think there are some people that don't consider this. So let's say you've lost your job and you come on. The first thing you do is you're cussing the boss out. You're cussing the job out. All right. First of all, when you go to put your application in, the first thing they do is a background check. And you can pay just a little bit of money. And if you're interested in hiring somebody, you can get criminal background checks. You can get background checks. And so they will do a complete background check without your knowledge sometimes. Number two, they will check out your social media. Now, trust me, if they're interested, and we're talking about working for a corporation, they will go to the posts that you've made. They will go to the videos you've made. Now, if they see you, and I saw one, and I kind of felt sorry. It was a guy, and it was a younger guy, and he was kicking and stomping, and like he was pulling his hair out about losing his job. Well, let me tell you something. Very few, probably 99.9% of anybody would never hire him because he's over-emotional. And what if he explodes at work? They want professional people. They don't want people that's going to explode at work. They don't want people that's going to lose their temper all the time they don't want people that's going to complain and go on social media and complain, well, they didn't treat me right, and I work with so-and-so. Now, listen, please listen to me. I know you're venting and I know that you're upset, but the problem that you're having is this. They can check background checks. They can check where you've worked. They can check social media. They can check your attitude. Now, I would never, if somebody is always over emotional, I'm not going to put them in a ministry. Can I tell you why? Because we get phone calls sometimes from mean people. And you can't have somebody telling somebody off, but I told him up, because you're representing a ministry. Now, you might be able to do that in the corporate world. I don't know. But the other thing is, can you work with other people? So if you're showing that you have been in conflict with people at work and you're exposing that to the whole world to see, well, the first thing a person is going to say, write them off, because apparently they cannot get along with other people. What a person has to see is, number one, this person got fired, but they had a very sweet spirit. They're very kind about it. They're very complimentary to our company. So a person is saying, you know, it's interesting. They've been fired twice, or laid off. I don't want to use the word fired, but fired, laid off. But they just have a really good spirit. We need somebody that can talk to people. They seem to have a good temperament. I'm telling you, they will watch your videos. They will watch your YouTube channels. They will watch your everything you post. It's right there. Look, it never goes away. So you may be mad today, and then 3 weeks later, I wish I hadn't said that. But you can take it off. But it never really goes away. It's still in the system. So you got to remember that. So your first reaction will be coming on social media and just blasting and complaining. And that is a very bad thing to do. And I'm being honest with you. I'm a person who hires people. I'm a CEO of many people that work with me. And so when I go to hire people, I want to know their attitude. I want to know how they handle their words. I want to know, do they handle stress well? When something goes bad, are they going to go off? Are they going to make everybody else uncomfortable? I tell people when I hire them, I pay you for the problems you solve and not the problems you make. Because if you make problems, you won't be here long. And that's just a blunt statement that I make. And another thing, now again, we're a ministry, we're different from a corporation. But I've teased people and I said, let me ask you something. If it's not as busy, are you willing to clean your office? And if you have to clean a bathroom out, are you okay with that? And if they say, well, that's not what, I don't clean bathrooms. Guess what? You just killed your effective getting hired, no matter how skilled you are. Let me tell you why. When I started doing what I was doing, I was the janitor of my dad's church for 8 years. Went there every Saturday while everybody else was out doing things. I cleaned my dad's church. I was willing to clean the bathrooms. I'm still willing to clean them, and I'm the CEO of the company. And if they need cleaning, I'll go clean them. See, sometimes, it says this, pride comes before destruction, a haughty spirit before the fall. There are times when people have a little bit of an ego, and their ego, you have to say, you know what? If you want the job, you got to say, you know what? Let me just say this. If you give me the job, I'll even clean the restrooms if you have to. For real. I'll do anything you need me to do. I'll do the best I can do, but I'll do anything you need me to do. You need me to run and get lunch, I'll do it, because I just am someone that here's the key. You ready? I'm not wanting to be served. I'm not wanting you to brag on me and how great I am. I want to be a servant to this company. I want to serve. Well, I ain't going to be a servant to anybody. Well, guess what? You're going to have a hard time finding a job, because Christ taught the greatest of the servants. Can I tell you about ministry? Ministry, you're on call 24 hours a day. Ministry, you get prayer requests sometimes. You get people calling you. You got to take an emergency phone call. You're on call all the time. Now, I'm not telling you you've got to work all the time. I'm not telling you go work 24 hours a day. But I'm saying that Jesus taught the greatest are the servants. When you are in hospitality, you're serving people. When you're in wedding planning, you're helping to prepare and plan. So don't take servant like a slave. I'm not talking about being a slave of bondage, but I'm talking about the greatest person is to know how to give somebody a cup of water. I'm thirsty. Hey, let me go get that for you. If you start retraining your thinking to be someone who is willing to serve the people that you work for and the people you're around and be a blessing to them. Please, don't make it all about you. I know you want a career and I know you want to make a lot of money and this and that and the other, but the scripture says, despise not small beginnings. And sometimes, I'm going to say it, you have to kind of humble yourself. You got to kind of start all over, but don't take that personal. Colonel Sanders failed at every job he had till he learned how to fry chicken after he retired. Now think about that. He failed at every job he had and became a millionaire frying chicken. So he found the one thing he was good at. He was good at frying chicken. What's the one thing you're good at? Maybe you'll have to develop that. Maybe you'll have to say, you know what? I know I'm educated. I know I've got I went to school for this, but there's other things I can do. So here's what I'm trying to do. Be careful what you post. Treat people well, treat people kind, and show people, you know what, I'm willing to do whatever you need me to do. If you need lunch, if you need a glass of water, if you even need me to clean the restrooms, I'm here to just serve. And I'm telling you something, if you show that attitude, and I know that all the interviews are professional, and I know a lot of people, they don't call back, but you don't take it personal, because there's a lot of people out there looking for jobs. So I hope I've helped you. And if you feel like I've showed you a good spirit and I've helped you, just give it a thumbs up. And you know, I'm speaking now. Here's what I'm doing. I'm speaking as someone who has hired people for 49 years. So I know what a person hiring a person looks at. You know, a person can take a resume and you can make the greatest resume, but one thing you don't want to do is ever embellish on a resume something you can do that you can't do, because that's bad news. But you can embellish a resume, but it's not just your resume that counts. It's your attitude, it's your words, it's your personality, it's your smile, it's your kindness. You know, don't go in there, hey, I just need a job. You know, cut up there and sit up straight and be nice and friendly to people. And eventually, there'll be someone that needs your skill. So, you know, I watch you guys, and some of you, I'll never meet you, I never know you. And, you know, Silicon Valley, I have some people I know out there, but I just want you to know that I sit there and say, Lord, help these folks to find a job. Help them to find a good job somewhere, because they need the income in this life. They need it to help them. So I'll keep praying for all of you and agreeing with you that you'll find a good job, okay? So this is Perry Stone, over and out. Give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you to be a part of so many different teachings that we do. Our special offer is significant. Right now, there has been more interest in the book of Revelation, called the Apocalypse, than there has been in the history, to my knowledge, of Christianity in the United States. People are saying, is this in the book of Revelation? Are the viruses, the earthquakes, the locusts, is this a part of what preachers have told us for years, the time of the end? And the answer is yes. What I did, I have in my hand an album that has 7 DVDs, not CDs, but DVDs, with charts, maps, scriptures, and detail, which is a study of the entire book of Revelation from chapter 1 all the way to the Amen in chapter 22. Here are some of the DVDs. The Apocalypse Code and the Heavenly Temple, the Heavenly Throne Room, the Priesthood and the Beginning of the Tribulation, the Two Witnesses, the Bema, the Dragon, and the Kingdom of the Beast. Here's another one, the Islamic Antichrist, the False Prophet, and the Empire of the Beast. Another one is the Mysterious Mark 666, the Mysterious Woman, and Mystery Babylon. And here's a great one, the Millennial Code, the 1,000-year reign of Christ on earth as King. We also have one when Satan is bound and heaven comes down. It took me years of putting the outline together. It took me years of doing the Greek word studies, the historical studies, the studies from the early fathers. So you actually are getting a Bible school teaching here. And so I want to make the Apocalypse Code available to you right now at a very special price. Now remember, these are 7 DVDs. This is about 14 hours of teaching, and we want to make it available at a special price of $75. It will come in this beautiful album. You can go to perrystone.org, 1-888-21-BREAD, or you can go write me at Perry Stone, P.O. Box 3595, Cleveland, Tennessee, 37320. There's an offer number. You must include that number, and we will know that's what you're ordering. And again, a donation of $75 or more will get you this album, and we will use it for a 100% ministry. You're going to learn a lot. Get ready. God bless you.
Searching for a message that inspires and uplifts, delivered precisely when you need it? Perry Stone offers immediate access to a vast collection of teachings grounded in God's Word. Visit perrystone.org/downloads to explore over 400 digital audio teachings in MP3 format, compatible with any device. Simply select your teaching, complete your purchase, and receive an instant download link, both on the checkout page and via email. Click Save As to store it securely, ensuring unrestricted access whenever you need it. For those who prefer video, perrystone.tv provides a dedicated video-on-demand platform featuring the latest conferences, teaching series, and Perry Stone's current manifest messages, all available instantly. This direct approach eliminates shipping fees and delays, especially beneficial for international audiences as it bypasses prolonged transit times. Plus, when making international purchases, your payment card automatically converts foreign currencies to your home currency, using the exchange rate provided by the payment network, simplifying the transaction process. Whether audio or video, it's a timely, impactful word, ready whenever you are.